this ongoing sit-in on the House floor as Democrats there are really hoping to push Republicans and House Speaker Lisa Demuth to hold a vote on gun safety legislation. It was passed by the Senate back on the 4th by a one-vote margin, right along party lines, 33 to 34. So the sit-in continues. Let's bring in Representative Samantha Sencer-Mura, who represents parts of Hennepin County and Minneapolis. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, hi, good morning. Happy to be here.
Yeah, and you are part of this sit-in. Are you currently ongoing on the floor of the House?
Yeah, so I was, joining about, I think about 15 of my colleagues who ended up staying here overnight, occupying the House floor since we gavelled out around 9 p.m. last night. And our plan is to be here until noon tomorrow until we gavel back in. We are feeling tired this morning, but also resolved. We have been in communication with so many people from across our state that are just begging us to do everything we can with the time that we have left this legislative session to do something about gun violence in our state.
Yeah, it is. I'm sorry. As this sit-in continues here, how do you feel about what the outcome of this sit-in will be once the House gavels back in at noon on Saturday? Where do you think that this will be successful in pushing the Speaker to hold a vote on this legislation, or do you think it won't? And if it doesn't, what do you feel you've accomplished?
Well, ultimately, I think fundamentally I believe in the ability of people to organize. And I believe that anything that we do here at the Capitol is only reflecting the organizing that goes on outside. I think a year ago, if you had asked members of my body what is going to be one of the number one issues of this legislative session, I don't know if how many people would have said preventing gun violence, but we have suffered through a horrific year of violence here in Minnesota. And as a legislator, I lost a colleague and a friend to gun violence, and there is an empty seat in our chamber that we look at every day because of gun violence. And then just a couple months after that, we all as a state suffered through the horrific tragedy of losing 2 young people and having 27 young people injured at Annunciation. Those are 2 mass incidents. We know that there are others that are affected by gun violence across our state every day. And so I do believe this is the moment to do something. And I do believe the organizing is working. And I think that is evidenced by the fact that the leadership of our House, Speaker Lisa Demuth, is doing everything she can to not even bring this bill up for a vote. So I believe that there probably are colleagues on the other side of the aisle who are ready to meet this moment, who are also moved by the stories that we have heard from people across our state who are saying you need to do something about guns and you need to meet the moment now.
And I know the Annunciation parents who've been very active in this session. Even prior to the session, I covered some of the pre-session hearings last fall about, what are the proposals here, and they were present there as well. What has their presence been like? Are they still there today?
Yeah, the Annunciation families have joined the terrible club of people across our country who have been impacted by gun violence and school shootings more specifically. And what they have done from that horrific event has been, I would say nothing short of incredible. The amount of organizing that they have done that is just so rooted in love, from the ribbons that went up around our community, the green and blue ribbons that you can probably still see throughout Minneapolis, to the singing that they have constantly done here at the Capitol, to the art installations of the children's desk. It has been really rooted in, I think, compassion and trying to bring people in, but also being really clear and resolute that doing something about guns has to be part of anything we are doing around a package to keep kids safe.
Now, were you present then last night when this, I don't know how you want to define it or label it, but this skirmish, this sort of, if you want to call it a shouting match, that your colleague, Aisha Gomez, is now accused of saying something that she says she didn't say. Were you there for that?
Yes, I was in the chamber at that time, and it was a really hard moment because we had just taken a vote to bring this bill up with urgency, and we were not able to get any Republican support to do that. And in the gallery, we had the parents of Harper Moisky. And when we ended that vote and we had no Republicans who were willing to cross over and vote with us to just take up that bill, we saw that one of our Republican colleagues, GOP member Elliot Engen, then tried to grandstand and ask for a moment to recognize the families in a way that they did not want to be recognized. The way that they want to be recognized and supported is by bringing up this legislation and passing this legislation. They have been really clear about that. And so it was unfortunate that we saw one of our GOP members attempting to center himself and his own beliefs rather than what the families have been really clear that they feel like we can do to honor their kids.
Now, the Republican leadership and others accuse Representative Gomez of saying something to the effect to Engen that he should shoot himself. The videos that have been released from DFLers, you cannot hear that. What did you hear?
I was not close to them in the chamber, so I did not hear directly. I have watched a video where it is really clear to me that what she says is, think of them, not yourself. And I think those are beautiful words for all of us legislators to remember as we end this legislative session. Think of them, not yourself.
Okay.
Think of the people of Minnesota who have sent us here to do the work, not our own egos. That is great advice for these last few hours of session.
Okay. Well, again, this sit-in continuing until the gavel tomorrow at noon, and you will continue to be there.
Yep, we will be here. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Thank you so much, Representative Samantha, Sencer-Mura, DFLer from District 63A, which is parts of Hennepin County, parts of Minneapolis.